So what is going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. My name's Sam Holo and we're here today with another Star Wars Battlefront 2 video, and today with the release of Count Dooku, as you might have seen on my channel recently, I'm going to be doing a villain ranking video, ranking all 10 of the villains that are in Star Wars Battlefront 2 from worst to best. Now I'm going to throw a few disclaimers in here. I'm pretty sure that people won't agree with this list entirely. Some people enjoy heroes where others don't, and I can say that this is all my personal opinion, and if you disagree with anything that I'm saying or you have another point to make, then please let me know down in the comments down below. I'd love to get a conversation going about whose heroes are the favourites and what people like, what people don't like, what can be improved, what needs to be nerfed potentially. So let me know down below if you have any changes of opinion from what I say. Every hero in the game is different from player to player. Some people are really good with the heroes that are at the bottom of the list. Some people are not very good with the heroes that are at the top of the lists. And that's okay, because every hero has a different playstyle. Every hero is unique in itself. None of the heroes are inherently just bad straight up. So with all that being said, we will jump in and get into this list. So coming in at the number 10 spot, and unfortunately someone has to go there, and this hero is Captain Phasma. She has probably been what is the worst villain, in Battlefront 2 for a fair while. She can be used effectively, but is definitely more used to lock down an area, set up in a choke point where the enemy are trying to get through, putting her droid down, and just locking down that area. Other than that, she doesn't really have that much of a use. She's definitely a support hero. Her abilities are just very average compared to every other villain. Her staff strike is buggy, even though it has been fixed. It hardly does enough damage and sometimes doesn't do any damage at all. But even though it's been fixed, I still don't think it is that good an ability compared to the rest of the abilities that the other villains have. And it doesn't do enough damage for me. Her blaster is quite good as it gets more accurate as you hold down the trigger button, but that can come unstuck. It has the night vision on it, and her buff to herself is not as big as buffs that other heroes have or other villains have. So therefore Captain Phasma comes in at number 10 as our worst villain. Now at number 9, and I'm not gonna lie, it hurts to kind of put him this low, but we have Boba Fett. He can be a beast in the right hands, but I just can't ignore all the problems and issues that Boba has. His only decent ability really is his rocket barrage. I know his unlimited jetpack fuel ability is good, but it's not that good to warrant pushing him up further up in the list. And if you don't have his rocket barrage star card unlocked, then his rocket barrage sometimes is not going to be enough to get a kill even. His blaster, his EE3, doesn't do enough damage at longer ranges for me, and it's hard to aim as the reticle has 3 lines but no dot in the middle, so sometimes it can be quite hard to tell where you're aiming at. And he can be easily taken out for a blaster hero, and this is where the big problem is with Boba, is that his health is just way too low. He starts off at, I believe, 550 health, which is one of the lowest of all the villains and heroes in the game. And that means that if you manage to catch him on the ground when he's got no jetpack fuel left with a lightsaber hero, you can quite easily take him out fairly quickly and simply. So Boba comes in at number 9. Now number 8 comes in our first lightsaber hero, and I think most people would agree that he's probably the worst lightsaber hero in the game, and that is Kylo Ren. He can be very good when he's used properly. He doesn't do as much damage as some of the other saber villains, and he doesn't really have the speed of Dooku and Maul to go up there in the ranks with those guys. And his stamina can be fairly low. I find myself, and maybe this is just me playing him wrong slightly, I find myself running out of stamina when blocking from blasters and lightsabers quite easily. And his abilities can be quite good. His frenzy has been claimed to be fixed, but I'm not entirely sure if that has made it better or worse in my opinion. Let me know what you think about his frenzy ability. His freeze and his pull are very good in Galactic Assault, but his freeze, particularly in HVV, can be a bit pointless, because obviously once you hit a person after they've been freezed, they come out of the freeze and are able to attack you again, so it doesn't really have the same effect as it does in GA when you can freeze a whole bunch of people and your teammates can take them out from the sides. So coming in at number 8 is Kylo Ren. And now we break into number 7, and it's another blaster hero, and Iden Versio. Now I find that Iden is quite a difficult hero to use. I think she's really good in GA with her secondary fire just being spammed all over the place if you can hit them. I find that it's sometimes hard to judge the drop on that, not bullet drop because it's not a bullet, but the drop of the orb, I guess, that you fire in GA, and I'm still trying to get used to that a little bit. And her stun droid in HVV can be overpowered when combined with her standard attack from her TL50, which I believe is one of the best blaster hero weapons personally, and when used with a bunch of headshots then you can absolutely melt people straight away. But obviously there's a lack of being able to aim down sights, which is a similar problem to Boba, to be honest, which I find annoying because it can have quite a big spread. Her abilities, other than her stun droid, are very average, and I think that's what lets her down. Her pulse cannon is very weak, and I find myself rarely using the pulse cannon. The droid shield, yeah, it's alright in Galactic Assault, but only really when you're running away and you haven't got that much health to play with. But like I say, her stun droid is very good in HVV, can be good in GA, especially as it's her, not health on kill card, but health on stun card. If you stun enough people, you gain health back, which I find is alright, but that means you still have to get up close and in the action with people, unlike some of the other heroes where you can still gain health back from kills from further away. So Iden comes in at number 7. And just missing out on the top 5 now, at number 6 we have good old Papa Palpatine. Palpatine was one of the best villains a few months ago, and since then has had a load of nerfs, which has meant that he's just slipped down and down this list. He's one of my favourite heroes to use, and it's taken me a while to work out what his range of his lightning in it is and how close you have to get to people in order to attack them. And also it took me a long time to figure out, and I don't think it ever says this in the game anywhere, that if you hold down both triggers then you do a lot more damage with both your lightning using your left hand and your right hand, rather than just holding down the right trigger, which is what I was doing for a while. And I was shouting at the TV because it was like, it's not doing any damage, how do people say he's good? But it proves that when you find that out, then he becomes a whole new different hero. And I do really like him. He can be quite easy to take down because of his lack of block, particularly to blaster heroes, because they don't have to get close to him, whereas he has to get quite close to them, and you could lose a lot of health by the time you even make it there. And if it wasn't for his quite high jump ability, then he would be pretty poor, because you have to keep jumping all the time basically to avoid the lightsaber heroes in HVV. So at number 6 is Palpatine. And now we break into the top 5, and we have Darth Maul at number 5. Now I find Darth Maul very hard to use, and I know he doesn't really suit my playstyle. I'm not that an aggressive player, but that is how he is best used, and I'm trying to train myself to use him like that. He's best used aggressively, as I say, in Galactic Assault, if you're moving quickly within corridors and behind cover and out of cover, using his spin attack and his dashes. On maps such as Mos Eisley or the Death Star or Kashyyyk, where there's a lot of cover and you can quickly spin in and out of corridors and areas and duck behind cover and take people out as you go. The one thing that I think lets Darth Maul down is his Furious Throw ability, as it's pretty poor. It rarely ever hits anyone, I find, and that means that he is definitely his worst ability. His spin attack and his choke throw are very good, but I find that he's generally a well-rounded hero, and he's probably one of the most fun heroes to use, and he's very easy to pick up how he works. There's nothing too complicated about him. So coming in at number 5 is Darth Maul. And now coming at number 4 we have the newest villain to the game, and that is Count Dooku. For me, he feels very complete, and I said this in my look at him first up video that I posted last time on the channel, and he's been in the game for a few weeks now. He feels very complete and very non-buggy, which is a surprise for a new hero, to be honest. His abilities are very well rounded, but can be quite situational. For example, his exposed weakness card can be very not useful on Galactic Assault, when you can quite easily just take someone out with their lightsaber straight off. He does work very well in close quarters maps in one-on-one situations. He can't be used too aggressively because he can't block blaster bolts for that long compared to how long he can block lightsabers, which means I think he can be better in HVV and he can be a tank in that game, particularly if you've got a hero team that has 4 lightsaber heroes, because that is what he's designed for. He's designed for lightsaber combat. It's what his character is in the film, and he's a very well-rounded hero. They nailed the look and the voice acting for him, and his just general aura and presence on the game feels very good. Right, so coming in at number 3, the first of the top 3, and we have the final blaster villain, and that is Bossk. And Bossk is quite easily the best blaster villain on the dark side. His Relby is a fantastic combination of both shotgun and sniper, which makes him perfect for all kinds of Galactic Assault maps. All of his abilities are useful in Galactic Assault as well. His micro grenades are very fun to just clear out corridors of people. His Dioxis grenade, again, same principle, clearing out corridors, clearing out rooms of people. You can just chuck one in there and you watch the enemies run. And finally, his trip mines, I think they're called. They're very good for if you know a villain or a hero is gonna... A villain? They're very good if you know a hero or a group of enemies are going to come down a certain way. You can place your trip mines down and blow them all to smithereens, basically. But without a doubt, Bosk's biggest strength is the fact that he's able to regenerate all of his health without needing kills. Which, if you want to, and you're not an experienced boss player, you can just run away and regenerate all your health as soon as you kill someone. It's not the most fun way to play, and I wouldn't recommend him playing like that because he can be a lot more fun to use than that. But if that's how you want to play and you're not the most confident with him, then please, by all means, go ahead, experiment with him. You can regen from less than 50 health back up to his full health in a few minutes, and then you're back in the fight straight away. For me, he's probably the most useful hero on any map. If you're unsure who to pick, then if you pick Bossk, that cannot be a bad choice. And that's why he comes in at number 3. And now, coming in, just missing out on the top spot as the best villain in Star Wars Battlefront 2, it is Darth Vader. Now, Vader is, to be quite honest, just the king of being a tank. He has a huge stamina pool, which means he can just block for days. And to be honest, if you see bad Vaders in a Galactic Assault or a HVV, that's all they do. They just stand there and block because he's got a huge stamina pool. He can just do it for hours and wait for the rest of his enemy team to come in and take them out. His abilities for me are arguably the most useful for all game modes. His saber thrower in Galactic Assault can just clean out corridors, and if you go on the Death Star 2 and you manage to get a hero, then just use Darth Vader because that is his map. The close quarters ability of it, the fact you can just lob your lightsaber down multiple corridors with enemies just lining up waiting for you to kill them, and it just is one of the best abilities in the game in my opinion. His focus rage, which buffs him, can then make you feel like the end scene in Rogue One where he gets onto the rebel ship and just takes them all out, and I think it made all big Star Wars fans just die a little bit when they watched that scene, because it gives him unlimited stamina, it buffs his health like you say, and it's just incredible combined with his other 2 abilities. And his Force Choke can stop heroes in their tracks in HVV, and also in Galactic Assault you can grab like 3 or 4 enemies if you get it right and deal a lot of damage. It does leave him very exposed, so it's a very kind of a situational ability, but if you do it in the right situation you can easily destroy people, and that's why he comes in at the second best villain in Star Wars Battlefront 2. But now for the top spot, and taking the crown as the best villain goes to General Grievous. Grievous. I feel like he's kind of been left out a bit recently because people aren't using him as much, because people are trying to rank up Count Dooku and see what he's like, and I find that when he came out people were just using him all the time, and now he's kind of dropped off a little bit, but it doesn't make him a bad villain. He has very high damage output with his Claw Rush, making him very hard to beat in Galactic Assault, and with the right player using him you can go on huge streaks with him. His shining light though is his Sith Train Star card, which basically makes him able to one-shot all classes except a heavy, and that is just a game changer when it comes to Galactic Assault, because before it'd take him a few hits to kill a trooper. He's quite slow and clunky at times if you're not using him in the right areas. His stamina's not as high as Vader's, which means he has to be used in a more aggressive manner. But that doesn't mean you can't take enemies out easily. Like I say, with the Assist Train star card, and I think it's the Cyborg Rage star card, which gives you health on kill, you can become an absolute tank. And in HVV, his shining light, other than his Sith Train star card, is his abilities that make him able to knock down heroes, like his Claw Rush and his Thrust Surge, because you can knock them down, hit them while they're down, and then that is basically them done. And finally, he does have the best skin in the game, in my opinion, and with his Shattered Armor skin, which is amazing if you haven't used it. So there you go, guys. That is my list of the top 10 ranking of the villains in Star Wars Battlefront 2. If you've enjoyed this video, then please do drop it a like, share with your friends, and hit that subscribe button, and tell me what you think. If you're enjoying Star Wars Battlefront, tell me what your ranking list is in the comments below. I'd love to hear it, so let me know. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.